The great benefic Jupiter is about to make some serious moves. Chiron, and I am here to make the language of astrology digestible and accessible for all. I am not only a professional astrologer, but also a Reiki master and mental health professional. I study traditional and modern astrology, and I base my predictions and information using whole sign. Okay. So, with that said, if you are new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also that notification button so you will not miss a beat. I upload videos like this all the time. But if you are returning, hello, welcome back, welcome home. Y'all know how we do things here. So with that being said, let's get into it. We are here to talk about Jupiter moving into Taurus, okay? So on May the 16th, we have Jupiter entering the earthy, practical sign of Taurus, and it's bringing all of the luck, all of the opportunities, all of the expansion that we can handle, right? And let me tell you, Taurus is about money and abundance and relationships and stuff like that. So get ready to kind of like rake it in, okay? Most of us will be making money, right? Getting more stable. If not making it, getting more stable in that area of our charts. Okay. Now, whether you are looking to grow your business venture or just, hoping to stumble across like some extra cash, for the next year that Jupiter will be in the sign of Taurus, is going to deliver the goods. I will definitely say that. If you have been feeling like your finances have been all over the place lately, it's because Uranus has also been in the sign of Taurus. So there's going to be some things that we will discuss about that later on in the video. So don't worry. Jupiter also comes in to bring in that added support that we need, right, to stabilize things that Uranus is like destabilizing things. Okay. Now, but that's not all. Let's see, we have Jupiter and Taurus, right? So it's also going to be in the sign that is ruled, or that's ruled by Venus, right? So it's a Venus ruled sign, which means that, Venus is all about things that are decadent. So we're in for some serious decadence, right? The art world is going to be booming. So all those starving artists out there, this is your time to shine. And with Taurus being associated with the voice, we might just see some serious talented singers take center stage. We might have a change in music. We might see an expansion in art and different things like that. Very Taurus ruled theme. So that's also something to kind of keep watch and look out for. And also, did I mention about the quality, right? High quality, luxury type of goods, all of that. That is very Taurus ruled energy. So treat yourself, spoil yourself, don't hold back, but also do so within your means, of course, right? Because Jupiter can have us doing things over the top and over extending ourselves in many different ways. That's what Jupiter does. It expands. So with Jupiter and Taurus is here, definitely going to be bringing in all the good things in life. So get ready to indulge, but also within your limits. Okay. Now, first, let's get into what is Jupiter, right? Jupiter. Jupiter is one of the largest and most influential planets in astrology. It's also known as the Great Benefic because it's supposed to be bringing in the luck and the expansion and the abundance and all that good stuff, right? Whatever house, whatever sign Jupiter touches, that's the purpose. It also brings in the truth. Jupiter is all about philosophy and expansion and consciousness and higher education. It's about the mind, the beliefs, that type of thing. So not only is it luck and abundance, but it's also about the broader view of things. So Jupiter is, in that regard, it represents growth, wisdom, cannot talk, wisdom, higher learning, expansion, also spirituality. So it's associated with like the principles that are in line with like faith, optimism, opportunity, those things. And it also encourages us to like broaden our horizons and expand our knowledge. So Jupiter is often linked with success and good fortune and prosperity, yes, but it's also to bless us with abundance in many different forms. It's not just a form of monetary things, right? And it could be wealth, love, personal growth, a wealth of knowledge, opportunities, adventure, that's abundance in any form. That's what Jupiter represents. Now, in your natal chart, Jupiter is where most likely you will experience success and good fortune, right? Where you have the most recognition, the most opportunities, right? So wherever Jupiter lies in your chart, your individual chart, it also reveals our natural gifts and talents, right? So as well as like higher purpose and calling, that's also Jupiter. So people with strong Jupiter placements or Sagittarius, Pisces energy, those people are highly optimistic, adventurous, open-minded. They tend to have like a strong sense of faith and purpose in their lives. And so additionally, when you look at that, you kind of like add that to this Taurus energy, and that's the focus. That's the energy that we're going into with this Taurus vibe, right? So when Jupiter is in transit, it affects us all on a collective level. Its movements through the zodiac can signal major shifts in the global economy, the political landscape, as well as cultural attitudes as well, because, Jupiter rules culture. So, for example, when Jupiter is in a sign that rules money and finances, such as Taurus, we might see an upswing in the stock market or an introduction of new financial policies. Overall, Jupiter is like a powerful force in astrology that encourages us to dream big and aim high, right? Jupiter is also the ruler of Sagittarius, right? The archer, aiming high. And also it tells us to trust in the universe to guide us towards success and balance, right? So, all right, so now we have what Jupiter is. Now, what is Taurus? When you put Jupiter and Taurus together, you got to know what both of them represent, all right? So Taurus, it is one of the most stable and practical signs of the zodiac. It's ruled by Venus, the planet of love and beauty. And it's also associated with the principles of sensuality and security and material comfort, right? So Taurus is a fixed earth sign, which means it's all about building and maintaining stability in our lives. Now, in a natal chart, Taurus reveals where we are most likely to seek that security and stability. So for instance, I have Taurus in my first house. I'm a Taurus ascendant. So for me, I have to seek the security within myself, the stability within who it is that I am, right? And not being like having no apologies about me being me, right? So that's that Taurus energy. Now, it also shows our approach to money, possessions, material comfort, as well as our desire for sensuality and pleasure in our life, right? People with strong Taurus placements tend to be practical, grounded, and reliable, and they value the simple pleasures of life like good food, comfort, relaxation. So you always get that, Taurus people that all they want to do is sleep and eat. They're stubborn, they don't make any moves, and that may be true, but whatever. So when there are planets transiting Taurus, such as Jupiter, we're likely to feel a greater focus on these Taurus themes, right, of stability and security. Now, we might be more interested in building our financial resources or investing in our physical well-being, because Taurus is also associated with other things, right? Like, the practical, the physical, the tangible things of life. Now, it's also associated with the arts. So we may see a greater appreciation for beauty and creativity during this next year that Jupiter is transiting through the sign of Taurus. Now, however, Taurus can sometimes be stubborn or resistant to change, and whatever, we know that. But it can also be slow to adapt to new circumstances. Taurus is not like change, it's fixed, right? It likes things that are stable. And so currently we have Uranus in the sign of Taurus, and it's bringing that instability that's like shaking us up to waken us into a new way of doing things, right? And this can be a challenge, especially for people with heavy Taurus placements. And also during times of upheaval or when we need to make major changes in our lives, right? It's hard for us to kind of get that moving. Now, like I said, Uranus is currently transiting Taurus, and this is something that we are learning over the next couple of years. I believe it's still be in the sign of Taurus until like 2025 or 2026. I don't have that exact date with me, but overall, this is like encouraging us to like adapt to change, make the innovative changes that are necessary, right? But overall, this energy, Taurus encourages us to find pleasure and comfort in the present moment and to build a solid foundation for our future. And that's what this is like encouraging, right? Now, let's get into some important dates that Jupiter will be, as Jupiter is in Taurus, right? So over the next year. Okay, so right before it moves into Taurus on the 16th, right? So it will be in the sign of Taurus from May the 16th of 2023 until May the 25th of 2024. So we have just about a year of Jupiter being in the sign of Taurus. Now, on May the 14th, before it moves into Taurus, is going to begin that square to Pluto, right? So, because it squares within degrees, right? So May 14th until May 21st, Jupiter will be squaring Pluto. Pluto is in Aquarius. It's currently retrograde, and it will then dip back into Capricorn to tie up some loose ends. But until then, it will still be making that square to Jupiter for, about a week or so. Now, what this can bring is a desire to achieve, and it might bring about truth about certain things, moral and ethical standards as well. This also could bring an expansive view of the world, tolerance, and broader knowledge. This also could increase wealth, right? An increase of wealth is possible during this time, but you must maintain a high moral standard in order to receive or ensure that success. Also, religious mania or extremism are also possible things that you could see or experience or become a victim of, or actually like engage yourself into, especially if you are wrapped up in like single-minded or self-righteous kind of point of views, right? So it's more so important for us to take the open-minded, broader sense of things when, tap into the Jupiter energy, whereas, the controlling, fixed kind of energy that Pluto and Aquarius can bring, right? So that's that. And then on May the 20th until May 25th of 2023, Jupiter is going to be squaring Mars. It's in Cancer, and also the early parts of Mars in Leo. So Mars is currently at the last degree of Cancer. It's going to be moving into Leo. So that square energy is happening now, but it's going to also be in the early, like 10 or so degrees of Leo. So Mars square Jupiter, that transit typically gives us like the energy and the initiative to start something new, start our new projects and whatnot. Also to take risk in order to achieve like a large scale of success. But we have to be aware that we are not overextending ourselves, right? Or, overcompensating, or, having a bigger appetite than what we can actually digest. Okay. So keep that in mind. Now, also May 24th until May 31st of 2023, Jupiter is going to make a conjunction to the North Node that's in Taurus. So this is going to be on a global level improvement in the food and financial industry, globally as well as individually. But also this is helping us push towards those major achievements of acquisition, right? Acquiring the things that we're trying to obtain. All right. So, and then we're going to have this the Jupiter sextile to Saturn. So this happens in two different times, right? So June 15th until June 24th of this year, and then also January 14th until February 19th of next year, Jupiter will be sextile in Saturn, and it happens twice because of the retrograde, right? So this is bringing things into reality that are, that we have been working towards in a very tangible way, right? Very tangible, very practical way. Things that we've been putting in effort and work towards could be manifesting for us during this time. Okay. And then we are going to have Jupiter's retrograde. So this happens September 4th until December 31st of 2023, Jupiter stations retrograde. So this is going to be giving us the opportunity to reevaluate the growth, the opportunities, and the manifestations that have occurred since Jupiter moved into Taurus. And so it's just more so us taking stock and inventory of what we have, what needs to go, to kind of review, revise, revamp kind of energy of a retrograde, right? Then we have next year, April 15th until April 26th, Jupiter is going to conjunct Uranus, which is in Taurus. So a surprising event or turn of events that could alter the normalcy of our life, right? It's likely that, we won't feel unsettled by the unexpected changes, because Jupiter is there to bring that support, that we won't be kind of like thrown off a little bit, but we'll see things as good, right? Things could come in that could be like a sudden windfall, or some type of victory, like some you've been anticipating for quite some time, and you can receive the victory for it, right? Because that's also very Jupiter ruled victory, right? So May 17th until May 19th of 2024, Jupiter is going to conjunct the sun. So during these last, these 2 days, be on the lookout for opportunities that you can embrace for expansive growth, right? So you can, grow, you can reach beyond your means and all that kind of stuff, or even find new means to reach. It's going to help you focus on that. And then May 22nd until May 23rd of 2024, Jupiter is going to conjunct Venus in Taurus. And this is expansion and opportunity within love and money, values and all that good stuff, okay? So now let's dive into some Jupiter and Taurus history. So what can we expect? Typically, how we do things is that how we know what is possible to come, we have to review history, what has happened the last time this has occurred. So I'm going to review the last 2 times that Jupiter was in Taurus. Okay, so first starting off with the most recent, it happened between June 4th of 2011 until June 11th of 2012. So during that time, June 4th, we had Chile's volcano. I can't pronounce the name of the volcano. The Puyuhi volcano erupts. And so that caused like air traffic cancellations across South America, New Zealand, and Australia. It forced like over 3,000 people to evacuate. Taurus rules the earth. It's Mother Earth, right? So we can see some changes and some things happening within the earth over the next year. I won't be surprised if there's some things that happen like the day that Jupiter moves into Taurus, okay? Now, also, June 28th of 2011, the Food and Agriculture Organization announced the eradication of the cattle plague, rinderpest from the world, right? So that was something, food, agriculture, Taurus energy. Also, I found some space stuff, right? I didn't expect to find, some space universe type of energy, but I found quite a bit. So a lot of things are going to be coming about, so like the planet Neptune complete its first orbit since it was discovered in 1846. That was one thing that I found to be interesting. That happened on July 12th of 2011. And then let me see, the United Nations declared famine in southern Somalia. That was the first time in like 30 years. In August, the stock exchange suffered heavy losses due to, the European sovereign debt crisis that happened. And then we had in September of that year, Occupy Wall Street. Those protests began. So this is all financial things, right? That Taurus energy. Not necessarily all bad things. We had I'm saying not all things are bad, but I'm not talking about earthquake. October 23rd, a magnitude of 7.2 earthquake in Turkey. That was very catastrophic. Also, just something else. We had on the art, remember I was mentioning how the art scene is going to be booming during this time. So May 2nd of 2011, the pastel version of The Scream by the Norwegian painter Edvard Munch, that sold for $120 million in a New York City auction, right? So that set a new world record for an auction work of art at that time. All right, so just something to think about. Now, the next time that Jupiter was in Taurus was June 28th of 1999 until June 30th of 2000. So take it a step back, right? So June 1st, Napster. Y'all remember Napster? I remember Napster because I used to be downloading all kinds of stuff off Napster. That was the music downloading service that was created during that time. So that's interesting because we have a lot of things going on right now with AI and whatnot. Jupiter is about expansion and whatnot, but then, music is art. So Napster created, and it really inspired more so than anything else. It inspired other file sharing sites. Remember Pirate Bay, remember LimeWire, Kazaa, BearShare, uTorrent. Y'all remember all those? From 1999 to 2010, right? So it inspired that period of file sharing, the music and whatnot. But a lot of people called that the second golden age of piracy, if y'all remember that. All those different laws and things came from that about, people and their music and rights and all that good stuff. So that is that. June 8th, the government of Colombia announced it will include its estimated value of the country's illegal drug crops exceeding $500 million in its gross national product. Now, listen, let me tell y'all how this ties in. First off is money, okay? That's first. That's Taurus energy. Second off, Jupiter, right? Jupiter not only is the ruling planet of Sagittarius, which is about expansion and, broader, views of things and whatnot, and foreign countries also, but it also is the ruler of Pisces, and Pisces rules drugs, okay? That energy rules drugs, narcotics, things like that, indulgence, overindulgence, all that kind of stuff, right? So I found that to be interesting, that Colombia announced that it will include the estimated value of the country's illegal drug crops in its gross national product. So that was very interesting. September 20th, the start of the Greek stock market crash happened in 1999. November 20th, China launched the first Shenzhou spacecraft. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So, yeah, very interesting. That was the other space thing that I found. I was like, this is very interesting that there's quite a bit of things going on in, space related kind of energy with Jupiter being in Taurus. Also, the previous time, I'm not going to go into detail on this, but the previous time before that Jupiter was in Taurus was March 8th of 1988 until March 10th of 1989. Okay. So that being said, before we dive into what this energy is bringing for all of y'all for the next year, I want to get these quick announcements out the way. By the time you are watching this, it will be the week of our Taurus new moon, right? So the Taurus new moon happens on May 19th, and we are connecting again for our intention setting ceremony here with the House of Chiron, the Chiron community. So make sure that in order to book your spot, to secure your spot, you are hitting that description box below, registering for your spot so you can get your worksheet. Also, if you are not signed up for my newsletter, or if you have not journeyed your way over to my website, you get a free ebook once you do that. And you put those two together, you have a great workbook to identify and journey within yourself even more so. Also, what else do I have? I have some other announcements coming out that I can't quite make right now, but other announcements. But the major one right now is this week is the Taurus new moon intention setting ceremony, because this is a beautiful new moon, right? So Jupiter will be in Taurus at that time. So you don't want to miss this. This is like, if you're going to come to any of come to all of them, but if you're going to come to any of, you have to pick one, pick this one to come to. Okay. So that's what I'm going to say. All right. Any other things? I don't think I have anything else. Just make sure you go to my website so you can get your free ebook. It is a cheat sheet ebook. It gives you all the tips and tools on all the basic one-on-one astrology stuff. So yeah, the lingo, the language, the terminology, the everything is in there. It's like 30 pages of information for free. There you have it. All right. So now let's get into the readings for all 12 signs. And before I do, I'd just like to remind you, make sure you are listening for your sun, moon, and rising signs. Okay. Now I'm going to go into more detail on this at the new moon ceremony, right? So I'll talk about Jupiter being there and what this brings and what this also bringing for you. So this is going to be a very brief overview of what it's bringing for all 12 signs. But if you want to know more in-depth information, come to the new moon ceremony that is happening on the 19th at 6 p.m. It's a virtual event. All right. So now, all 12 signs, make sure you are listening for your sun, moon, and rising sign. Your rising is going to be first and primary. That is the most accurate reading for your sign. Your sun sign is going to be secondary, as that reflects your focus and your goals. And then last but not least will be your moon sign. It's more subjective. It's about your internal emotional world. It relates to your home and family life and your current living situations. Okay. Now, let's get into it, shall we? All right, let's start with Aries, because the first sign is zodiac. Okay, so Aries, this is happening in your second house. So you might be expanding and making more money or developing a new stream of income during the next year. Okay, expansion on your finances, and also your possessions. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising. This is happening in your first house. So this is directly affecting you, Taurus, right? More expansion, more recognition, more eyes on you, getting the recognition that you deserve for the work that you've been putting in, expanding in all of your accomplishments. Okay. Now, for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising, this is happening in your 12th house. This has a lot to do with mental health. So, mental health and addictions, your overall health, spirituality, and things that, are related to seclusion and isolation, retreating, and whatnot. These things are going to improve, as well as your healing, all are going to have a level of improvement. Okay. Now for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising, this is in your 11th house. So in your 11th house is going to help you become more social, networking, aligning yourself in order to connect with other people. Okay. People that can, teach you things and expand your knowledge as well as your experience and your consciousness. Okay. Now, for Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising, this is happening in your 10th house. This is the house of your career, your public image, your reputation. So this is a career advancement, more opportunities and recognition at your job, possible promotions over the next year. Okay. So for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising, this is happening in your 9th house. This is the house of travel. This is about, higher education. So you might be traveling, getting a degree. Also possible that you could be embracing a new philosophy or religion or some type of belief that expands your consciousness as well. Okay, now for Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising, this is happening in your 8th house. So this is you growing your investments, getting money from like a divorce or alimony or perhaps an inheritance or anything from the government. So there might be a greater chance for loans, but you also could be just growing your portfolio, your investment portfolio over the next year. Okay, so for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising, this is happening in your 7th house. So many of you will be getting married or elevating a relationship. You might be getting a new friend, a new best friend, or just simply improving your one-on-one connections with people. Okay. So for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising, this is happening in your 6th house. So this has a lot to do with your physical health, right? So your physical health could be improving, as well as your relationships with coworkers or just your work environment in general. Your day-to-day routines could be expanding. You could have more responsibility in that regard. But also you could be getting like a new pet because 6th house represent pets, or, adding more pets into your family already. All right. So for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising, Jupiter will be in your 5th house for the next year. So this is, dating and children and creative expression. So, you might have a better time dating, meeting people, expressing yourself in a creative way. So like you are an artist, this is a wonderful time for you to put your stuff out there. Creative projects could, take off during this time. You could be having more children if you are in, the plans of making more children or having children. This is a wonderful transit for you to actually try that. Okay, so for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising, this Jupiter energy will be in your 4th house. So this might have you moving to a new home or growing your family or expanding your home, right? Or buying another home, something along those lines. Just more so about expansion and, kind of feeling more, I guess, optimistic within the home, okay? You might even be moving across seas somewhere, like, foreign location. And then for Pisces, last but not least, Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising, Jupiter is going to be transiting your 3rd house for the next year. So you might find yourself writing more. You might have like a new success in a small business, or you might be finding success in getting a new vehicle. Communication and social connections also could be improving or expanding. Your social media presence could be improving or expanding as well. All right. So with that being said, I hope that this video was beneficial and helpful and informative for you. Meet me in the comments. Let's talk about, what this means for you. If you're already seeing any of these themes that are showing up for you in your life at this time. Jupiter should be already in Taurus at the time that this video is coming out. So meet me in the comments. Also, make sure that you hit the description box and that you book your spot for our new moon intention setting ceremony that happens on May 19th at 6 p.m. Central Time. It's a virtual event. Also, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification button. Like, help me grow, help me reach, help me talk to you all, like all that good stuff. All right. So that being said, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful time. I will see you soon.